welcome everybody to the Michigan Women's Hockey Coaches Show, live here from Regents Field, and we are very pleased to be back here. This week, Michigan head coach Jenna Tribbiano and I will we'll look back at the weekend at State College, and we'll look forward to tomorrow's game versus Concordia. Welcome, Coach Tribbiano. How you doing today?
Social media stuff posted. There we go. We should be good to go.
Excellent. It's a busy day down here in downtown Ann Arbor. The men's basketball game is playing Wisconsin about 7 o'clock. We have some lovely people from Wisconsin in here eating at Regents Field, so we appreciate that, all the people coming down and having fun before the game. Now, taking a look at this past weekend, Michigan traveled to Penn State this past weekend for a pair of games. The first game was Friday, February 2nd. Michigan struck first at 6:24. With 6:24 left in the first, Malashevsky battled in front of the net and was rewarded with the opening goal. Lindahl and Swanson on the assist. The first period seemed to be the team's best period that day, which is a little surprising after coming right off of a 6-hour bus ride. You said the team got there a little bit early, about 3:30. Did having a little bit more time getting off the bus before getting on the rink help the team out, or what do you think helped the team get off their best front foot there?
It's definitely less stressful when we have a little bit of a buffer when we travel. We made a couple of pit stops. We stopped for lunch, so I'm glad we had enough time to get there safely, first and foremost. And, yeah, we were able to check into the hotel, get another meal in, and I'm not sure what the players did. I saw a lot of them in the lobby as soon as the bus landed or pulled up. I went to my room, and I had a call with a prospective student, and I came out about 20 minutes later, and there's just laptops everywhere in the lobby. I'm like, all right, we're here. So, yeah, I think that definitely helped, just giving them time to breathe and allowing themselves to mentally prepare for the game.
Absolutely fantastic. Carr gave Michigan a 2-goal lead on the power play with 1:43 left to go in the first. Hansen found Carr on the near circle, and Carr placed it perfectly in the upper right-hand corner. That was the only power play goal on 7 attempts for Michigan in that weekend. That's about 14%. Michigan's been about 14% on the power play since the new year. That's down from 18% on the season average. Is that something you're concerned about at all, or is it just kind of getting a new player in and getting the lines tweaked for the stretch run here?
Yeah, it's not something that's super concerning. We are converting. Probably not at the rate that everybody wants to.
Oh, sure.
But we have to focus on the positives, and we're going to be focusing on power play tonight at practice. So definitely something we'll be talking about just as we work through some potential plays. So not too concerning from our end.
Perfect. Now, those were the only 2 games of the game, as both Ponith and Ware were perfect in the final 2 periods. Ponith got her 3rd shutout of the season. What were your overall thoughts on Friday's game?
Overall, not our best game. I think, like you said, we started super strong in that first period, but then we just kind of plateaued, which is sort of normal for us on the road most times. So we're going to have to figure out a way to get out of that funk. Ultimately, we came away with the win, which is great. But they were very quick back-to-back games.
Absolutely.
So that was something that was taken into consideration while managing the bench on Friday as well, just knowing that we had a very quick turnaround time into Saturday. So, ultimately the goal was to get in there and sweep, and that's what we did do. So, all in all, a positive weekend.
Perfect. Now, speaking of which, well, before I get to that, though, Friday was your birthday, and you got to spend it with the team, but did you get to celebrate it all or anything like that, or was it just all focused on the game?
I just told them I wanted a sweep for my birthday.
Well, there you go.
Which is what we got. Coach Joe and Coach Ned met us at the bus Friday morning. Ned had Tim Hortons donuts, and Joe brought Washtenaw Dairy donuts. So we had a lot of donuts on the bus, so maybe that's why we came out flying in the first period. But, yeah, that was really the celebration. I can't really imagine it like spending my birthday anywhere else, though. So
Absolutely. It seemed very appropriate to spend it with
Yeah.
the team. Had I known that was what was going on, I would have gotten Dom's Donuts
Yeah,
just so we could
the
get the
trifecta.
trifecta.
Yep.
Exactly. There's some darn good pastries in this area.
Oh, yeah.
Now, speaking of the wonderful turnaround, so Michigan had less than 12 hours between the games. I know as a broadcast crew, we got back to the hotel about 11:30 p.m., and then we had to be up at 6 a.m. to get checked out of the hotel, get to the rink, and get set up for an 8:30 a.m. game. How did the team handle that quick turnaround?
We told them it was going to be a quick turnaround time. We prefaced it. We talked about it all throughout the week at practice. Yeah, I just tried to, as soon as I got back to the hotel, sent the lineup right away for the next day and tried to fall asleep. I was still pretty amped up from the game with the adrenaline,
Indeed.
which normally happens, but I knew that I needed to rest for the team's success on Saturday morning. So I'm not sure how late the students stayed up. But, you know, we did have a curfew, like, as soon as we got back, so everybody was supposed to be in their rooms. But, yeah, they all knew it was going to be a very quick turnaround time.
Yeah.
The delay is something else that I don't know I can't remember if we're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
but,
we'll get into that. But
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's probably easier for the players than either you or I on the quick turnaround.
Yeah.
But I know after a game I have a heck of a time just falling right asleep.
Exactly.
I'm way too amped up. So speaking of which, it was an early morning. Thank you to Mr. Cummings for getting my wife and I coffee to try and stave off the yawning there. Everybody got to the rink nice and early. Well, almost everybody that was necessary. There was an EMT that was supposed to be there as the trainer for the game. They were not there at the start of the game. The game had to be postponed until there was a trainer. The game was on a curfew, so we didn't even know if the team was going to be able to get to play. Thankfully, there were a couple nurses who were Penn State mothers who agreed to come over, and after some back and forth with the people in charge, finally the nurses were able to take over as the trainer, and we were able to, at the 11th hour, get the game going. In a situation like that, when you're ready to go, then you're in a holding pattern and you don't know how long it's going to take, what do you do in the locker room with the team? How do you handle that?
I know as a player it's difficult. I've been in situations where a game's been delayed, or maybe we like halfway through the game there's some sort of delay. Like I've been in power outages, whatever, tornado warnings, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So for me, the number one thing is, because it was just myself as the coaching staff this weekend, like, one, I needed to figure out what was going on. Two, if I could help problem solve. I know I tried to call you all because there were people waiting on the broadcast for the game to happen, and it just seemed like something was wrong, or like, you know, maybe it was an injury, and I just wanted to clarify that everybody was okay. It was something outside of our control.
Yeah.
But for me, just I kept going in the locker room, updating the team as soon as I had new information. Ultimately, I gave the captains the responsibility to like keep the team energy up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I said we need to prepare to play in 5 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is. 9:15 is the cutoff. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
So that's what I told the team, because being transparent is really important.
Absolutely.
So that's like everything I knew I communicated to the team as effectively as I thought I could. So yeah, there were two, I think, mothers on Penn State that were at the game that stepped up, which was great. So we're very thankful that we were still able to play the game.
And some of that is because of your communication, because you talked to my wife, and then my wife told all the parents what were going on, and that's where the two nurses were like, well, can we do something
cool.
about
I didn't know
it?
that.
So the fact that you actually calling and letting us know actually helped that happen. So thank you very
That's
much
great.
for
Well,
letting
thank you.
us know. Thank my wife, who's a master of communications, and yet puts up with me for some reason, but that's okay. So getting to the game, once we finally got to get to the game, Michigan scored first on Saturday's game as Lindahl broke through the crease, put a shot that hit the post, but she was able to come back, get her own rebound, and put in the score. How important was it to get the first score in a game when there were so many hurdles to get the game going initially?
Just setting the tone. That's what it comes back to. One of our goals last season and even this season is scoring early, setting the tone, and continuing to produce throughout the game. So it was great to get that first goal by Lindahl.
Absolutely. Penn State tied up the game on a penalty shot by Solaski, but Michigan answered back just 5 minutes later when Lindahl scored her second of the game, this time with an assist from Swanson. This team has a lot of players with multi-goal games, kind of more than I remember in recent history. Is that feeding the hot hand? Is it just a lot of hard work? What is it that's giving this team a lot of multi-goal games?
I think it's a little bit of both, and I didn't really realize that until I saw that in our questions. But yeah, I think like when players are on, like they get a little more hungry and they're more confident.
Yeah.
And they've got a little more swagger. So if somebody has a hot hand, we want to get them on the ice in situations that we feel they're going to be successful in.
Absolutely.
So Lindahl, for example, and I know we've talked about this last year, like we knew she had potential to be a goal scorer, but we weren't sure how she was going to fit in.
Yeah.
And then the first game against Dearborn, we're like, okay, wow.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
And she found her groove. She got confidence, and now she is a goal scorer, and she's a playmaker. So when somebody's on, we want the puck on their stick.
Definitely.
At the end of the day. And it's the same thing with Carr, too. Like, she's really taken off this second semester, so we want the puck on her stick.
Definitely.
It's that simple.
Yeah, 9 goals in what is it, 5 games is not bad
yeah.
at all. It's unbelievable.
It's pretty good.
we hope it continues throughout the rest of the season. Now, on the next faceoff, so right after Michigan got back the lead, 7 seconds later, Hansen was able to take the faceoff, cruise all the way down the far side, fire it right in on a beautiful shot. Penn State was able to get it down to a 1-goal game off of as Pianzo scored off of a defender's skate, kind of a fluky goal there. Johns had no shot at it, but 1 minute 17 seconds later, the captain, Katie German, iced the game with an assist from Lindahl. What were your overall thoughts of the game? Kind of having to come back off of a couple fluky goals, but one penalty shot that was a good penalty shot by a fluky goal. The team never seemed to get rattled. What were your thoughts about that overall the weekend?
Given the challenges that we faced and the adversity of one having a quick turnaround time between games, and then the delaying game, not knowing if the game is going to happen, and we also didn't say between the first and second period, which is abnormal for our protocol.
Yes.
Like, given that there were so many changes to, I would say, very habitual people.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we did well. We got the win.
Indeed.
Our ranking didn't necessarily change, and we can talk about that later. But, I think ultimately we went in, we got the job done, however it needed to be done with what we could control, and then we made it safely home.
Fantastic. That's the important part, right? Absolutely, make it safely home as well. Now, the team was able to be back on Sunday, which was really cool because they got to participate in the celebrating a little early the National Girls and Women in Sports Day over at Chrysler Arena before the Michigan gymnastics match. The team was able to be in the concourse and meet some fans. How did that go? The pictures look awesome.
I wasn't there. I did not know about it until the bus ride back, and I already had a previous commitment.
Sure.
So I had asked Robin Goldman to send me some pictures, but I'm really glad that our students stepped up and participated.
Yes.
Because we've done that. I know we did it last year, but we've been invited to that a decent amount of times.
Yeah.
And I feel it's really important to have a presence there, just as we're trying to grow our game in women's ice hockey and also like show that we are here, we're present in the community, and we want to give back as well.
Absolutely. And it's another opportunity for these fantastic players to meet young women who can now have the dream of wearing that winged helmet, who can think about playing hockey, and it's just, the pictures are amazing.
Yes.
It's just wonderful to
That's
see.
very
It makes
cool.
my heart super warm.
That's very cool.
So taking a look now, flipping over to tomorrow, February 8th, Michigan welcomes Concordia into Yost Ice Arena. It is an 8 p.m. game. Michigan opened up the season versus Concordia at Concordia and won 5-2. Concordia has won 7 games. They've lost 12, including 1 in overtime. They have been swept by Minnesota, Adrian, Indiana Tech, and Michigan Dearborn, with the third game versus Michigan Dearborn. They split with Michigan State, Penn State, and Lake Superior State, and then they swept Davenport and Aquinas. minus. Concordia has a negative 21 goal differential compared to Michigan's plus 36. But there are very few, if no, easy games in this league. So what does Michigan have to do to get those important CCWHA points tomorrow night?
We have to show up and bring it. We have to play our game.
Yes.
We beat them once, but like I told the team Monday night, it's really hard to beat any opponent twice in this league.
Yes.
It's very difficult. Coaches are smart. They will make adjustments. We've grown a lot since our first game of the season, which was against Concordia.
Indeed.
They've grown a lot since their first game of the season, which was against us. I think it was their first game. I can't remember. But regardless, we know that we have to bring it. We have to play 20 minutes at a time, a full 60-minute game, and protect our house. It's Yost. We've got to bring it. We've got to bring the energy. I know it's on a Thursday, but anybody that's able to come to the game would greatly help us.
Absolutely. This is not, I mean, Concordia has been progressively getting better and better over the last several years. They're not a team where, maybe 7 years ago you could show up and not worry about it too much. But if you do not pay attention, they will make you pay.
They're a strong team.
Absolutely. We would love to see all of you out at Yost Ice Arena. Now, speaking a little bit about the CCWHA, these are my own calculations, so take them for a grain of salt. But from what I can tell, Michigan can only drop as far as number 3 in the seeding in the East. So they are guaranteed to make the CCWHA playoffs. So go get your tickets now. You can get them from ccwhad1.acha.hockeytech.com. There's a little barcode there that you can get to. Michigan and Adrian could both tie University of Michigan Dearborn, but they would both need to beat them, both Michigan and Adrian. And then Michigan State could actually knock Adrian out, but they would need University of Michigan Dearborn to beat Adrian. Then Michigan State would need to beat Adrian twice. They would tie them, and then they would need to have scored more than Adrian. So tall test for Michigan State. So as Michigan ends up, they can end up anywhere within the top 3 seeds. Every game is absolutely vital. Any thoughts on that East Pod race coming down to the wire here?
Yeah, I'm actually waiting on text confirmation whether we've clinched or not. So
okay.
Once I do receive confirmation, which I'll follow up after our show, I'll let the parents know. But yeah, I think everything you've got here is accurate. I just want to confirm with our commissioner.
100%.
It's been really close. Even in the West Pod, too. The 3 teams that have clinched in the West Pod are Indiana Tech, Miami, and Lake State. So we've got Lake State coming up.
Absolutely.
Which we could see them in the league tournament. So
100%.
Yeah, it's going to be a really exciting couple of weeks, and we've got a game tomorrow, and then our players have the weekend off, which I think will be really good for them, so they can rest, rejuvenate, and study, and do what they need to do. But yeah, it's been very interesting this year because Adrian's lost a couple of games that on paper they shouldn't have lost, and obviously we would have loved to have a game against Adrian, but yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how it shakes out.
Absolutely. Adrian has won the last,
6
yes. CCWHA tournament titles, and Michigan would love to find a way to play them and knock them out in the title game. So super exciting. One women's hockey note. The PWHL will be hosting a game at Little Caesars Arena, as Ottawa and Boston will play at Little Caesars Arena Saturday, March 16th at 6 p.m. If we want to show that Southeastern Michigan can support a professional women's hockey team, please, we need to get a lot of people out to that game. Obviously, it's a balloon test to see how it does in this market. Now, unfortunately, the timing is tough because Michigan's going to hope to be in St. Louis at the time, playing in the semifinals for nationals. So that'll be difficult. But if you're not in St. Louis, we'd love to see you get out there. It's kind of exciting to have the PWHL have a game in Detroit, have a game at Little Caesars, and see what happens with that.
I'm really excited. I am. It's on my list. I've got other priorities I need to take care of first, but it's on my list to get this date in this game and ticket information out to as many people as possible because we really need to sell out Little Caesars Arena.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that would do great for the just show the interest of women's hockey in the area. Show the PWHL that this is a viable market. Show anyone else who wants to be in women's hockey. I would love to see. The ACHA Michigan teams there. Obviously, we'd like to be in nationals.
Yep.
I would love to see the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League teams there.
Yes.
I don't have any contact with the PWHL, but please reach out to the Michigan Girls High School Hockey League and have those young ladies there so we can show that. That would be wonderful. As we're talking, now the rankings, did you want to mention anything, Michigan? We thought they were number 6 last week. It turns out they were number 7.
Right. So there was an email that came out after, it must have been Wednesday or Thursday of last week. I think it was Wednesday because I think it was right after our show.
Yeah.
I got an email saying that the rankings were incorrect and that these were the new adjusted rankings. So we thought we were 6. We were actually 7. So week to week, there was no movement. Yeah. So we're still at 7. But again, there's only, I think, 2 rankings left. Maybe 3 rankings left before the national tournament, which is really exciting.
Absolutely.
So we really need to just bear down and try our best and grind it out for the rest of the season.
And as much as Michigan might not be able to probably gain a lot in the rankings tomorrow, they could definitely lose in the rankings with a poor performance. So it's got to be a big game versus Concordia. We could use all of you in there to make sure it's a big home ice crowd. And then, boy, having 3 games, Michigan Dearborn next, not this Friday, but next Friday.
Correct.
And then 2 games right after that versus Lake State. 3-game weekend with all big important games.
Yes.
So that'll be tough and have a lot to do with the rankings. So.
Yeah, but we can do it. That's the thing. We just have to be able to apply ourselves and prepare ourselves mentally and physically for our 4 last regular season games.
Absolutely. It's amazing how quickly it's gone.
I know.
It is just unbelievable.
It's wild.
So, anything else you want to discuss? Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention, I know you have a note here. So if anybody's been following me on social media, I had posted about an incident that happened on Sunday, which I want to, I guess, just bring awareness to, and that's my goal with it. So I won't get into too much detail, but there are things that girls and women in ice hockey and other sports that are predominantly male experience daily.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I experienced something with, I guess, an opposing team of adult men, which was pretty shocking to me given the fact that we're all adults.
Yes.
So I think an article just came out about it with The Athletic. I've been talking with some other media outlets just trying to bring awareness to the issue, but my post did go viral. So if anybody, has any questions on it, feel free to contact me. And if there's anything we can do or I can do with my platform, I'm more than happy to help as well.
I really appreciate you mentioning it, because that's something that more people need to know still happens. Those of us who can need to speak up when that happens and let people know, because hockey is an amazing, beautiful, fantastic sport, but there are some dark elements to it still out there, and we cannot accept that. As fans, as custodians of the game, that's not acceptable.
Yep.
And I'm sorry that happened to you, and hopefully we can just thank you for bringing light to it, because it's super important so other girls, other women don't have to face that, hopefully, as much.
Yeah. And again, it's like, it's not about me. It's not about the incident. If it was, I would have said it happened here at this time, location, here are names, but that's not what the goal is.
Yeah.
And that's really important to me. I want to keep everybody anonymous. But yeah, it's just more of like, hey, this is still happening.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out ways to increase awareness and increase education as to, maybe why these things are still happening and what we can do to prevent them.
Absolutely. So you should never be told that you can't do something simply because of your sex, especially in a sports environment like that, especially in an adult league where it's co-ed. Even if you're the only woman, that's absolutely not acceptable. And hopefully bringing awareness to it can make people deal with that in the future.
Definitely. That's the goal.
Excellent. Anything else that you wanted to mention this evening?
No, that's it. I just thank you
Yeah.
for coming to Penn State this past weekend. It's a weird drive because it's what, 6 hours?
Yep.
About, but it's long enough to make it your whole day. So we really appreciate you guys coming out there.
Oh, it was our
supporting us.
pleasure. It was our pleasure. Got to get out there the night before so I could work from the hotel. So that made it super nice and easy on Friday. So it's fun to get to go and check those things out. It would have been nice to be in the big rink, but
Right.
still, it's as far as the community rink, it was nice. It's always good to see fellow Big Ten teams, and it always looks right when those teams play, right?
Yes.
Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, and Michigan.
Yep.
It just looks right. It feels right.
I
So,
agree.
well, we do want to thank Regents Field. Thank you so much. Come on down here. They have a fantastic menu. Again, as a number of the fans before the Michigan basketball game can attest to down here. It's always busy before the Michigan games. Huge thank you to the Penn State mothers who helped out to allow us to have a game on Saturday. And thank you to you for letting my wife know so we could let everyone know what was happening. Thank you to everyone who visited the team at Chrysler on Sunday. And a huge thank you to everyone who supports this amazing, wonderful team. Get out to Yost Ice Arena tomorrow, 8 p.m. for Michigan versus Concordia, the Battle of the Huron River. And thank you and have a wonderful rest of your evening.